Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Red Sea podcast. Welcome back after quite a few days again. Of course, in between the past live stream and this one, we had the incredible experience of welcoming home our European champions on the water polo department. But here we are on a very special episode with a very special guest to talk about a season that honestly still feels a bit surreal, but yet very deserved. So before anything, how are you, man? And thank you for being here once again.
Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to having chats with other fans, whether it be on YouTube or in any other medium or face to face. It's our favorite thing to talk about. You know that. That's why you do what you do. The passion for our team, and it was great having you a while back. So we had to do this. I hosted you. Now you're hosting me. It's great. It's a great period for us. It's a fun time to talk about our team. I know you cover other sports as well. I'm mostly basketball related content, and you've had a rough go there with football, and especially football. It didn't go that well, but that's a great thing about being Olympiacos fans. You can always turn to other sports and see that, two major European trophies won this year, and other championships. So it's always sunny when you're an Olympiacos fan, even if you're living in London. The sun always shines on us, and we could speak about other topics regarding our team and other sports, but I'm pretty sure you want to focus on what happened on basketball and what happened with our basketball team. A long wait is over, and we're European champions. We won the Greek League as well. So always happy to talk about our team, and especially here on a channel that really promotes fandom, Olympiacos fandom.
I appreciate it, first of all. And secondly, how can you not want to focus on basketball after a year like this? A year that we have waited for, as you said, for so long, been through so many downs, been through so many what ifs, but it's finally here. It's finally gonna stay here as it seems. And unlike other times and unlike other teams, it's looking like we are using the EuroLeague as a step up and not leaning on saying, we're European champions, we're fine. But we'll get to that, I am sure. And again, as you said, for those of you that don't know, I was hosted about a year ago, and ever since then, it feels like Olympiacos BC is not only a different team, but it feels like we're in a different universe at this rate with everything that's happened, everyone coming in, everyone going out. And I do want to start with the most recent event, of course, and your opinion surrounding it, and that is Alec Peters and the official announcement of him leaving Olympiacos after achieving everything, doing everything in the past 4 years, and him ending up, more than likely at least, at Olympia Milan.
Well, first of all, it was great to see the outpouring of love and appreciation and of the posts on social media from the player, from the team, and all the fans responding to his departure. That it's always nice when there is a departure like that from a player that is loved and appreciated. and the fans have a connection to, that we kind of know. We've been informed. We've had our debates. We've come to terms with that player leaving. So with Alex's case, we knew it was rumored for over a month. After his unbelievable Final Four performance, that was a major reason why we ended up winning the EuroLeague. And that came out of nowhere because Alec Peters was demoted to a role player, a glorified role player in Olympiacos. So that really makes a difference when a player like that with limited playing time just steps up, earns more minutes on the court, and plays a major role in the team winning big in the European level. So after that, there was a major swing in public opinion about whether Alex should stay. I'm sure you've seen and you've spoken with Olympiacos fans. Like 2 months ago, we were all like, "Nah, this." 2 months ago, for 2 years maybe, this doesn't work. It's basically the same player as our first option at the 4, Sasha Vezenkov. So they kind of do the same thing, but Alec does it worse on many parts of the game. So no, we need something else. We need a change. And then that unbelievable player, and mostly that unbelievable professional, that gentleman of the courts, comes up so big for us when we needed him the most to capture a European trophy after so many years. And then it was like 90%. Oh no, forget that. Forget players like Blossom Game or whoever. Alec needs to stay, and we need to renew his contract. And I sympathized with those fans, and I was one of those fans. But I always recognized that it was always a privilege for their team to have such a great player. In my opinion, the greatest shooter in European basketball, and in contention for greatest shooter ever, maybe in European basketball. But having that player accepting a role like the one he had at Olympiacos is not a given. It was a privilege. It was something we've lucked into because we know he came here at Olympiacos as a backup. Then Sasa left. He, without skipping a beat, turned into a first option. He played the role of a star player perfectly. He was the reason that we stayed afloat during that year with Cannon as a second option or whatever. It's really hard to look back on those years now and wondering how we coped with those teams.
Brasdeitis at the 3.
Yeah. We're pretty tough Olympiacos fans. All the winning helps, I guess, throughout the years. But I always knew that you can't have that forever. He renewed his contract then with higher wages because he was a first option. Then Sasa came back, and throughout the 2 years that he turned into a second option again, a bench player. He moaned about it, I think, twice in 2 years, but was always
even.
Yeah, maybe once, I don't know. And he was always like, people ask me, how do you feel about your playing time going down, your shots going down, being a bench player? And he was always like, I'm just glad my friend Sasa is back on the team, and we're a better team for it. An absolute professional. And now, after him becoming a European champion with Olympiacos, playing a major role in that, smack dab in his prime, I can't fault him for wanting to leave, wanting another challenge. I'm sure you could say, oh, you can be part of a dynasty here, man. You could keep doing this, winning more trophies. I don't think it matters that much to Alec Peters by the end of his career if he has 1 or 3 or 4 EuroLeague trophies. He's a winner. He's a proven winner. And now he wants to prove to himself and to pundits and fans that he can do that elsewhere and have a major role, being a star player for another team and leading that team to victories. So I have no bad feelings towards Alec. I have no animosity towards the Olympiacos brass that they couldn't keep him. Sometimes it's not a money issue. I think definitely in this case it wasn't a money issue. Sometimes your paths just are not the same, and we've had, again, I'll use the word privilege because it was for us fans, for Barjokas, for the team, to have that player for as long as we had him. Wish him the best. But another thing I've also stressed on my channel, Olympiacos will survive this loss. Olympiacos has lofty goals about roster construction next year. Losing Alec is a blow, but it won't damage the team that much. And it is true, it holds true that you can differentiate and add other things, be more versatile, be more athletic at that position behind Sasa, bring a player that is that does other tasks and fits better. So the team will be fine. Alec will absolutely smash it at Armani. He'll be amazing there. So all good. He's a champion. He's a EuroLeague champion. He's a winner. And we hold on to our memories with him. Definitely gonna miss him.
For sure gonna miss him, and it's a privilege, it's an honor. It was and it always will be an honor that Alec will forever be part of this family on or off the court. And I'll add on to something that you said. This man wasn't just arguably the greatest shooter in Europe. This man wasn't just an incredible professional, but it's one of the very rare cases, especially from foreign players, where you will not even remember the player for his trophies or his on-court amazing form, but the first thing that will come to mind will be all the love and passion he showed for this club and his incredible ways around his teammates. I am more than certain for that. And because I don't want to completely dive in rumors and stuff, at least not immediately, you mentioned his Final Four performance, which arguably is one of the most flawless Final Four performances I've personally, at least, ever seen. And in addition to that, he had another incredible Game 5 in the GBL Finals, which led to... we lost the man. He'll be back, I'm sure. There he is. Okay.
Keep going. I'm just fixing my camera.
Yeah. As I was saying, I mentioned Alex's incredible Game 5, in addition to his flawless Final Four performance, which led to arguably the majority of the reason for our truly historic double of the season. And aside from Alec, there was another man that alone, dare I say, carried the team on his shoulders, especially in a lot of departments like energy, passion, mentality, and of course, I'm mentioning one of the best stories in the EuroLeague right now, and that's Evan Fournier's story. The man that has been unstoppable ever since, dare I say, Monaco. The man that came from the NBA and has not only become a legend here already, has not only entered some uncomfortable conversations already in the EuroLeague, but has fans questioning if he's secretly from Camigna and not France. The man that has shown so much passion towards this club, so much energy towards the club, that has had so many iconic moments in this club already, and there is so much more to come, has arguably also helped Sasha Vezenkov out a lot, as both of arguably, again, the biggest stars in Europe right now complement each other so well that they're both at the top of their game. And I want your opinion on that.
Well, there's nothing we can say that hasn't been covered already about this legend. You mentioned some uncomfortable conversations. I'm ready to have those conversations. I believe, thinking about it, and also being a guy that's born mid-90s, so early 90s, so having pretty much missed a lot of great players and heard from them by my parents and other Olympiacos fans, I'm ready to say, accolades-wise, connection with the fans, and his accomplishments, and who he is as a player and his entire career. He's the greatest foreign player Olympiacos had in basketball. I know we have some legends in mind, always come to mind, but the other one for me that is right next to him is not Zarko or other people, other players that some mention. It's David Rivers. That's the other one for me. I know we have captains like Tomic and other great players. No one is a Van, and we tend to romanticize a bit about the past and about past players. And I don't want to litigate this too much. I don't want to crap on other players.
You're fine. You're fine.
I mean, okay, there are players that went to Panathinaikos. You can't forget that. Come on, and they don't have the accolades of Evan, and he's a Final Four MVP for Olympiacos as a foreign player, and a player that carried us like no one, no other has in the finals. Now, I think I'm sure you saw that his points in the series with Panathinaikos broke Roy Tarpley's record for most points in the final series, and that's on the back of winning Final Four MVP, being the unquestioned best player and leader of our team in the Final Four, and with in the playoffs with Monaco, which was a beat down. So it doesn't make sense to have standouts there and say that someone was MVP in those playoffs. That was a merciless killing in that series with Monaco.
Yeah.
But we said that about Ivan, that throughout the season, I kept saying that myself, that throughout the season he has to manage his workload, he has to manage his body, he has to manage his energy. He's at a certain age now. He's not the player he was when he was playing in the NBA 82 games a season, and he has a huge career behind him. Hundreds of games, professional, national level. So he had to load manage, to borrow a phrase from the NBA world, and he did. And I was always sure that when the big games were there, and they would be there for the taking, Evan would take them. he already showed us what an absolute killer he is. That mentality he has last year, where he was the only player that really faced Monaco last night. Yeah, the others didn't show up. Whole team, the coach, but he was there. And that's why he broke down at the end. You remember, we all have that image in our heads of Evan crying his eyes out and Spanoulis comforting him after the loss in the semi-final with Monaco. I think that loss and the first season makes this even more special, because it wasn't like I decide I go back to Europe and I go to Olympiacos because I love that club. I fell in love with that club many years ago. But we'll have Sasha Vezenkov, we'll have Milutinov, we'll have great players. We smash through everybody in our first year and we just win. It makes for an even better, more legendary story that through heartbreak we arrive at this, at something the club chased for so many years. I was a student last time we won EuroLeague title in 2013. It's been a long time.
I was 9.
All right. Yeah. So I'm very close to Evan in age. So yeah, I guess when he was falling in love with Olympiacos at the Final Four, you were also forming a special bond with Olympiacos with him. I think he's October of 92. He's turning 34 in October. So yeah, we're close. It's a legendary story. I think I heard him himself say that his wife turned to him at some point and she said, "Do you realize what has happened here, story-wise? What have you done since you decided to come here?" And he was like, "Yeah, it will set in. I will realize at some point." It's a mythical story. It's a story that's something that really connects with Olympiacos. Olympiacos is made, and I hate calling our team that Olympiacos. It's just that here in London, whenever I speak about my team, it has to be Olympiacos. Otherwise, even Arsenal fans who have every reason to remember Olympiacos.
Yeah, I was going to say they should know.
Yeah. Oh, don't worry. They still remember El Arabi. They still remember that. Anyway, for Fournier, our club is built on incredible stories that lead to winning. And Evan has one of the most special stories himself now. And all that's left is, where can we get with him? How can we surround him in the future? With who we can surround him and build around him? Because, and I don't want this to sound negative, but if the finals and the Final Four prove something, is that Olympiacos will go as far as Fournier will take him, as long as he's on the team and in his prime. Olympiacos should be built around Evan's needs. Other players like Sasa. Sasa is an incredible player, one of the best players in Europe, but he's a system player that can be game planned against. There's no game plan against a player that can just decide to destroy you however he wants. Driving the ball, just stepping back, shooting threes, dribbling the hell out of you. There's no game plan against players like Fournier. And it looks like he will be surrounded appropriately in the future. So I'm just waiting to see how many more we can win with him. We have to maximize this window with Evan on the team, because he's that big of a deal. He's that talented and such a leader that we have to cherish every moment. and make sure we don't waste any more time with him. We have to win as big as possible with Fournier on the roster.
I mean, you mentioned as long as he's in his prime, the man's playing 37 to 43 minutes a game. I don't think there will be any problems about a prime of Evan Fournier as long as he's here and until he, hopefully, as he has said himself, retires here. And as you said as well, he's the reason that this isn't only the end of a cycle, this is a new beginning for another one. And in that new beginning, for this new up-and-coming, quote-unquote, era of Olympiacos, he's undoubtedly proven that he is the leader. And he will continue to be the leader. And you mentioned him, the next man that I do want to talk about a bit, and the season that he had, because I feel like I was, and I'm sure you said it as well, but there were very few of us that believed in him this much. And of course, that's the best center in Europe and our front line in general, but especially him. And that's Nico Milutinov. Nico Milutinov that had the season of a lifetime. And I do sound like a broken record because I feel like I mentioned that every single episode, but the man did have a season to be remembered forever. A terrifying presence at the 5 and a work ethic of an absolute monster. Even up until Game 5 of the finals, I feel like we saw Nico Milutinov be in the best shape of his life. Not even asking to be substituted like more than once, maybe. And I feel like that one time was in the second OT of Game 4. And honestly, as with many others, this feels like it was a flawless season. And another great story, as he not only rejected Panathinaikos last summer, let's not forget that. I will always be bringing up that quote that we paid too much for him, quote unquote, on many quotes on. But he himself said that he came back for his city, his team, and to bring back a trophy like that with him. And with Nico Milutinov leading the charge at the 5 and an absolute maniac in the best way in Tyreek Jones following him and going back to the privilege that you said in our third choice center being Donta Hall of all people. I feel like not only the Olympiacos that passed, and this is where I mainly want your opinion, but the Olympiacos of the next season as well, of course, knowing what we know and what may happen in the summer, will be probably the set of players with the most depth and the biggest amounts of talent and quality that we've seen. I think so, at least.
Yeah, I tend to agree. And the Olympiacos is built around the top 3, Sasa, Evan, and Milu. And also you said many great things about Milu. He's also our Burzouki MVP, which is always great to have on a team, chemistry-wise. I mean, these days were just for him. These days are for guys like him. I'm so happy about him. And 2 things about him specifically: the foul injury. Who knows what would have happened? It's definitely a sliding doors moment of if Fall doesn't get that injury, does Milu stay? Probably not. He wasn't really happy, and he wouldn't. He didn't play like himself, like the version we saw this year. That wasn't there with the Twin Towers at the 5 last year. So he probably goes, and we stay with Fall. And I don't wanna think about that scenario now. It doesn't matter, but it is a fork in the road, and I would say it was a catastrophic injury for Fall and a really sad moment. But you kind of have to think that maybe the team lacked into the scenario where Milu stays and is the first option at the 5, is happy about that, turns in an amazing season. He's on a EuroLeague team, all EuroLeague team. We were kind of lucky that he stayed, no matter what the circumstances were and what convinced him to stay. And also another thing about during the season, you mentioned what we had behind him and the incredible amounts of quality at the 5. There were rumblings that he didn't really want another addition at the 5, and he didn't want someone gunning for his minutes or being another option that would lower his minutes. I don't know if I believe those rumors. They might be garbage. We don't know. But regardless, it is a fact that since we acquired Tyreek, he went down like 3 minutes per game. His playing time, Milu's playing time went down, and he might not even been happy about this, but I think it was a huge plus for him at the end of the season. The reserves on energy, defense, and endurance that we had from Milutinov, the presence of those 2 5s behind him played a major role in that. And the fact that his minutes went down, and he didn't really lose anything. He was there with personal accomplishments and his all EuroLeague selection. It really helped, and it's credit to the team and whoever decided that we should pounce when Tyreek became available. Donta Hall was a bit maligned as a second option, but as a third option, he's an unbelievable steal. He's an incredible steal as a third option. He proved it time and time again. He became a name that the Olympiacos fans chanted, which was incredible to see by the end of the season.
Deservingly so as well.
Yeah. If Olympiacos fans love something, is you doing your best without being a diva and giving everything to the team. That's why they loved Peter so much, and that's why they came to love Donta Hall, because he knew when Tyreek was in, he was basically out. But he never disconnected from the team. He stayed ready, and when opportunities became available, he really showed out. So it was a pretty big advantage for Olympiacos, their depth at the 5, and we have to, at all costs, keep it like that next year. Milu is also a player that is not getting any younger, and it's he is a super athlete. All those people at that level are super athletes, but he has nagging injuries from the past. You have to have other options, and you have to have people with different play styles, like Tyreek and Donta Hall were totally different to what Milo provided for the team. So I don't know what happens with Donta or Tyreek. I really hope they both stay. I think the chemistry between them is also important. Let's also not forget the, soon to be Greek, Mustafa Fall. That's a question for team building next year. But again, that advantage at the 5 has to stay.
That's definitely a question, of course. You can't forget. Moose, but even if we do end up losing Moose, he's really living like he deserves to as well, having completed absolutely everything. And in regards to the other two, I really don't think that either of them are going to leave, but I am especially sure about Tyreek because, I mean, the man's a psycho in the best way, but he has already showed that he is genuinely willing to bleed for this club, so I don't think he's going to stick to go anywhere.
Hang on there, because we have other Olympiacos fans that were quick to ask the team to cut him or release him from his contract about what happened during the finals, which was just unbelievable to me. As you know, I had a live stream for the fifth game, and when I heard what happened and we saw that the Ataman show describing what happened, I was like,
I'm so glad he's gone. By the way, I'm so happy.
That's not.
I know why you're asking. I know what's been brought up. I'm just glad I won't have to hear him again. I don't care.
Well, he did give us plenty of content. I mean, he made me laugh. He made me laugh many times. So laughter is a very big commodity in our world. So I will miss him for many unbelievable press conferences and his unbelievable English and what his mouth was saying sometimes. Really, you couldn't fathom that a basketball person was actually saying.
You still can't. You still can't. Even after, you still can't.
I will definitely miss him. I'm pretty sure Panathinaikos fans on other shows and YouTube channels or whatever, I don't know even if they have channels like no one has the motion that Olympiacos has. But I'm pretty sure as we're saying goodbye to a legend like Alec Peters, they're tearfully saying goodbye to Ergin Ataman now. Let's see where he ends up. Let's see if he finds another Larkin, Misic, or none on his next stop. But whatever. I reacted putting a lot of asterisks on it. I kept saying, hey, remember who's saying what? It's the national TV station, which we have no reason to trust whatsoever, and it's Ergin Ataman. I mean, the guy is almost a pathological liar in front of a microphone. You put a microphone in front of him, he'll say whatever. So I was like, if it is true, Tyreek, his conduct is unprofessional, and it's not something I would like for Olympiacos players, and I don't like it if that's happened. But I was saying, remember who says what, and let's see. But if it is true, he should be definitely disciplined by the team. I mentioned something like maybe cutting some wages or keeping him off the...
Yeah, what a fine.
A fine. But then, again, that's where my asterisk came into play. Then that's where my legal background helps, because you always do fine print with whatever you say to be covered. Then something else comes into light, and we see something else. And I gotta say, I know this is not basketball, and it's part of the toxic environment of the finals, but I have to say,
go on. Yeah.
And I'll mention it on my channel as well. It's absolutely disgusting what the union of the players did, based on what Ataman said and what video that you didn't know where it started or where it ended, that video. And the union of the players comes out and condemns Tyreek Jones. And what they say? They said unacceptable, disgusting attack of Tyreek Jones on none. Unbelievable. I'm sure they've retracted now. And they've
I doubt
made another statement. But
they probably blamed both.
Cares? Yeah, who even cares about them? Whatever. They should just worry about keeping that 6+2 foreign players rule in line, so they can get their money from teams. That's what they should be focusing on, and not condemning Tyrik's conduct. But for Olympiacos fans, which I do care about, there were plenty of Olympiacos fans that wanted him off the team because Ataman and Nan said so, and because the national TV said so. Sorry, a big parenthesis here about Tyrik, because it's fresh and it's still fresh on our minds, and it happened. And there was a discussion if he should stay on the team. I'm not with the people. I have to be honest. I'm not trying to sell my Olympiacos fandom. I'm not with the people that say, he should have beat him harder. Or, I wish he'd broken all his teeth or something. I don't like that. I'm not fan of violence, so I don't like it. So I wouldn't upload Tyrik. But asking Olympiacos to release him, unbelievable. I hope he stays for 10 years. He's not a player on the level of Milutinov, no matter what we think. He's not on the same level, quality-wise. And he can be a little unpredictable, like you said, psycho, best ways. But he can be a bit unpredictable and a bit up and down. But he was there when he needed him on the fourth quarter to win against Real. He's a unique player, especially defensive abilities that he has. So I hope he stays. He's a centerpiece on a center and front court rotation. Tyrik Jones for life.
I mean, I've said this before, and I'll stand on that ground. We have the two most athletic centers in Europe behind the most dominant one, and that shouldn't change for any reason at all. And speaking of should stay, should not, and speaking of a player that deservingly heard his name chanted from Olympiacos fans, the cult hero / very AC law reminiscent man named Corey Joseph. I'm not going to go on the rant that I have throughout the entire season of how stupid it was to doubt this man. I'll get straight to the point of the fact that along with Tyrik Jones, this man was a season changer, not just a game changer. This man was the walking definition of a point guard, of an old school basketball point guard, which we needed to complement the once again very impressive Thomas Walkup. And with knowing what we know for who's coming in, who's not, the discussion is, does he stay, does he not? And being totally honest, I would understand both decisions. As much as I would love for Corey Joseph to stay, I would understand why he wouldn't want to be third choice, probably. But if he does stay, which would be the ideal thing, honestly, I can't think of a more vital piece coming off the bench. And to go with an example we have already seen, I feel like if he does stay, his impact will be very similar to Shaq McKissick this year.
Well, it's hard. It's hard because we already know who's coming, and it's been reported by our best reporter, and he's he's
the
mentioned
man, the legend, Mike Stefano, of course, is who we're talking
Yep,
about.
exactly. The only red voice that people out there should trust for me when it comes to Olympiacos issues, no one else. And besides the team, of course. Well, we know from him, and we know from other reporters too, and European reporters, and another major source, Urbonas, the Lithuanian guy, that Jean Montero and Cody Miller-McIntyre are basically Olympiacos players. Me, I have a little pet peeve with that. I never, I assume it's not happening. I don't do videos. I don't do anything until I see the team announce the players.
Oh yeah, same.
So until we know that, and we know the terms, and we know the contracts, and we see him holding an Olympiacos jersey or whatever, I'm pretending he is not an Olympiacos player yet. But if it comes from sources like that, you have to assume some things. And Thomas Walkup isn't going anywhere. Thomas Walkup is a huge part of Olympiacos' plans for next year too, especially with
he's probably getting renewed.
Yeah,
he's more than likely.
I would see that. I would see that, and knowing the value that Walkup has in Barjok's mind, I don't see him being something worse than third option, Thomas. And you can't play around in your head and think that, Montero will also play at the 2. That could force Evan to the 3 a bit more. Tyler could fit there. We could have some 3-guard lineups when you have room for everyone. It can work. It can work depending on what you do on the 3 position. But having CMC, Montero, Walkup, Dorsey, Fournier, and slotting behind all of them is Corey Joseph. There is he only stays if he agrees with a team that on any given night where the team is healthy, he's out of the lineup, he's out of the rotation. I don't know if he wants to do that. He became one of the few, I think 14 players of all time where he has an NBA ring and a EuroLeague championship. And most of them are like fake, like at the Tokumbo or something, like they're the Tokumbo brother. He's not fake. He played a major part in both. And he turns 35 now in August. I don't know if he wants to do that. I can't see a path where he has an every night, every game role in Olympiacos, and that's okay because again we have lofty goals and we aim for to creating something incredible for next year. For me, as I think for most basketball fans, give me players that are willing to dive for loose balls, are always on the floor, taking charges, chasing after loose balls, playing defense like that, like a hound. Give me players like that all day over anything else. So for me, it would definitely be an absolute pleasure to see him in an Olympiacos jersey again next year. But he will be the 4th option at the 1 and the 6th option at the guard positions in general. So if he wants to do that and be a veteran presence, God bless. I would love that. If he doesn't, again, we move forward.
It's basically this. We also have to think about Corey possibly staying. Personally, if he wants to say just for the vibes, I'm happy. He's my pick for most underrated player of the season. I have to agree, actually, if we are going to think about who is more or less the unsung hero of this team, I would go between Corey Joseph and the aforementioned Shaq McKissick, and I think I would lean towards Corey because I think no one really realizes truly the impact that he had. And I mean, you covered me fully. I do agree spot on with what you said, whether one side happens or the other. And based on a report that I saw today, I wouldn't be shocked if he goes to one of the Thessaloniki clubs next season, if he doesn't stay with us. I wouldn't be shocked to see him stay in Greece either way, but we'll see. And the final player that I really want to focus on before we have a small discussion about
just
MVPs.
a small thing about what Panagiotis says.
Yeah.
Definitely underrated. But just if we can assume things about who he is as a player and what he would like, I think that when you see him play at this age with hundreds of games of NBA experience at the top level, at the championship level, and you see here at the Greek finals, for example, where other players play in the EuroLeague like 100%, give everything, and then go to the regional, national matches and underperform. I don't mean any Olympiacos or Panathinaikos players, but it happens all over the place. Turkey, Serbia, Spain. You can see that. You can see players not playing to the level that they're playing when they have a EuroLeague game. And I mean, it makes sense, especially for American players.
Francisco. It's an easy example.
Others too, because the NBA players, American players, Canadian players, players from the other side anyway of the Atlantic, they know what EuroLeague basketball is. Most of them, they know what it means. They can't really brag to anyone that they won the Greek league or whatever. Some of them don't perform at the same level. That guy, Corey Joseph. I still have one of my best moments in the finals was him stealing the ball and then falling down to the court and controlling the ball with his head. And knowing that he's that kind of a player, 35, close to 35 years old, I know that these guys, as long as they're playing, they're dogs. They're dogs. And dogs don't want to be chained up, being out of the rotation and not doing what they love to do, which is that fighting for a team and giving everything for a team. So I can't see him staying for purely for the vibes. I think he wants to compete until he retires.
It would suck.
I hope that the team tries the best to convince him. We have to keep him. That would be great.
Yeah, but I mean, again, major impact off the bench, no matter the role that he does have. The last player that I did want to talk about is someone we did kind of talk about off camera. Is someone that has gathered a lot of discussion, sadly, and that, of course, is Ty Dorsey. The man is a changed man. He went from last year's DNP to being, without a question, the most improved player in the league. Like, if that was an award, it's his. I don't think there is any question there. And now we are standing here after an injury-troubled final series for him, playing barely a game, and we don't know what will happen next season. I don't think there is any real question in him staying, no matter what discussions are saying and stuff. I don't believe Pana fans. I will never believe Pana fans because it's the same. It's the same thing every year, and this goes mostly towards our fans. Like, the same happened with Milu, the same happened with Sasha, the same happened with, I can go down a massive list Like even Bardokas at some point.
The same happened with Peters as well.
The same happened with Alec, yeah. Perfect example. So why would it happen now? Like, come on. I feel like it's a matter of time until the man officially renews. And along with Evan, and that's more where I want your opinion, they may not have started amazingly together, but the moment that they split up their game time, I feel like we didn't lack a millisecond from their position.
Yeah, that was a huge thing I had all season on my channel with videos, with analysis about this, about the decision that was made in December to swap their places in the rotation, and how that really was the catalyst for us becoming an awesome team from a team that kind of struggled until then. It was a brave decision by the coaching staff. It's all down to the magnificence of Evan Fournier as a leader and his humbleness to leave his spot for Tyler. And what I said earlier about Evan, that he did load manage and he did try to keep his body and mind clear at the end for the big games. The reason it could happen this year is because Tyler Dorsey was reborn this year, and he turned it such an amazing season. Also, an All EuroLeague selection. I don't think the final taste in our mouths for Tyler's season. I know it's not good. The Final Four wasn't good, and the finals he wasn't there. I'm not even counting a 3 he made and one free throw or whatever that the game where he did a shoot up, the fourth one. He didn't even play in the finals. He wasn't a factor, and I know that hurts a bit. How we remember his season. It's unfair because for me the most important reason we won this year is because Tyler became the player that we all dreamed he could be under Barjok's direction. And what I said on my channel was, yeah, he did not play well. Barjokas pulled him in the final, but we can't underestimate the impact of having a player that has to be game planned against, and that Real has to dedicate defensive resources on guarding him because he's such a threat throughout the whole season, and how much that will free up others, because Real had to keep and Fener had to keep an eye out for Tyler, and that helps Sasa, that helps Evan, that helps everyone else. So even his presence by being such a threat throughout the season, and the really valuable minutes of rest that he gave to Evan this season were major reasons why we ended up winning. So I know at the end it wasn't the greatest, but Tyler is an amazing player. He's a Greek player, so no question the team would definitely be they'll be out of their minds by not doing everything to keep him. But I'll say something controversial. I wouldn't be shocked if crazy Giannakopoulos just went to Tyler, gave him $4 million a year, and Tyler signed there. I wouldn't be shocked to see Tyler signing there. We've seen him having no problem doing that in the past. Kind of going where the money would be there and not having a trouble with that. He's not an Olympiacos player born and bred. He doesn't have that much of he doesn't have the love that others have for the team, and it's fair. Not everyone has to be Evan Fournier or Sasa Vezenkov or whatever. And others that do love us leave us. Peters left us. Milutinov was ready to sign with Armani. These are professional players, and they have to do what's best for their families. Tyler was a player that stayed away from us to chase a pension from the NBA. I was close to signing with Panathinaikos, so it wouldn't shock me. It wouldn't shock me if he left. And if someone offers like 4 or 5 million or whatever, which sounds crazy to me, as much of a great player Tyler is, the team has to do whatever is necessary to keep him, especially because of his Greek passport. But again, we'll have to see. I'm not where you are as to certainty that he stays, but I really hope the team does not shoot themselves in the foot and keep him at all costs.
With what we've seen, planning-wise and stuff in general, I can't help but be certain, but I understand the point you're coming from, more or less. And to end off a wonderful hour, which I didn't even realize until I looked at the timestamp that it's been an hour of being live.
A lot of yapping from me.
As it should be. Exactly as it should be. I want your MVP for the season, and I want your ideal. Doesn't have to be realistic, doesn't have to be one of the names. I want your ideal Peters replacement.
MVP. Wow. I know I called him a system player, but
I mean, I'm biased, so for me it's.
I know where you always would answer with that. I don't know. I'm kind of leaning towards Frank Ntilikina. I mean, the impact was unbelievable.
Christ,
he made a fan out of me. Oh, Frank, I miss you, my guy.
There has been worse.
We'll get to enjoy him on Asvel, I guess.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, it's Sasa Vezenkov, man. It's Sasa Vezenkov. I know I call him a system player, and that's not an insult. When the system is so great and a player can be that system and can your whole team can flow through his attributes and abilities because his coach knows how to use him that well. He's a player that averaged 6.4, I think, rebounds, and with a 60-40-90, close to 60-40-90 on efficiency. And it's not about numbers. The whole thing runs through him. And
consistency from October to last year.
When we say during the finals Olympiacos wasn't Olympiacos, he was a one-man show with a van and we didn't play the basketball we could, it was because they played such amazing defense on Sasa, and you do that, you can maybe stop him for a game or two. He'll get you at the end because he's that great of a player, like he did with Panathinaikos. Some people will maybe think he wasn't there for this series. He was. He had great games, even though he struggled with a great player guarding him like Nigel Hayes-Davis. When when a team is able to stop him or at least do their best to stop him, Olympiacos really suffers. And he is the connective tissue for getting first seeds in the EuroLeague and being such a great team. Evan is our best player for me. He is our best player, but he's our best player, a one-game best player, a one-series best player. He can't, at this point of his career, carry you and be the centerpiece like Sasa can. So for me, MVP is Sasa. And The other was what did you ask me about the other thing?
An ideal replacement at the 4.
Oh, all right. I already mentioned the name days ago, which
It doesn't have to be realistic again. Whatever
no.
comes to mind.
It's super realistic. It's maybe too realistic. Other people, are focusing on Bonga and Fontecchio and players like that for the 3-4. I mentioned the name Isaiah Mike from Bayern, and I mentioned him specifically because he's a player that would be willing to play 10 to 12 minutes in Olympiacos, not demand much more. He's a player that gives you something else, something different to Alec in regards to athleticism and versatility. He's not the best defender. He's not the best at-rim finisher. Actually, he's very bad at that. But he did finish the season just now, the last season, with a 42% three-point percentage while shooting.
That's insane.
While shooting one three-pointer more than Alec Peters. So pretty decent, pretty good volume for EuroLeague standards. And there are not that many players that shoot over 40% in Europe. It's like 20, 25, 30 players. So his three-point shooting, which you definitely need for the second unit, you're never going to get Alex shooting back, the shooting that Peters gave. You're never getting that back. But you do need it, especially if it's like something like CMC, Ward, and Tyreek Jones, 3 players that can't really shoot from the outside. They're not threats. You do really need the spacing, especially for CMC to run some pick and roll with Tyreek. You have to be have players spaced out, and he kind of gives you that. And he's also athletic. He's of course he has his words because he would come in and play at most 10 minutes, and he doesn't have the best career. But he's I would target a player like that, a 4-3 that is willing to play 10 minutes and can space the floor a little bit. So a player like that would be good for me.
Yeah, unexpected. That's for sure. Mike's a player that I didn't even really think of, but fair point, honestly. It does sound as ideal as it gets. I'll drop my MVP, which of course is the same as yours. I don't think
all right.
there is.
Right.
No, it's not a one. I would say though that Evan, as I said earlier, did help Sasa find his best game again, because he knew that even if teams just triple teamed him, which some still did, there is someone else that can carry the load for a game or two. It's not like other years where Olympiacos were basically more or less screwed, especially shooting-wise. So I did think that gave him a bit more confidence in general, and we saw that even near the end, where, as you said, Pana, especially in the league finals, were all over him. He still had an impact, of course, but he played with such confidence in the system of Olympiacos, where he did take that necessary quote-unquote step back for Evan to do his thing. And honestly, I think we covered about every major point that we could for the season that passed. So aside from any final thoughts from you, and if you want to tell people where to find you, I think we are good.
Well, you already mentioned me in the description. I've seen, so it's anyone can find it there. I don't need to say anything else. I would really like to thank you and tell you how much I admire your work here. Anything that has to be that's serves our fandom this honestly and with passion, I really respect, and I really wish you the best. And really, thank you for having me. You know how much I love yapping about Olympiacos, so any chance I get, it's great for me.
It's an honor and it's a pleasure, man. And we'll, of course, do this again at some point, and not in another year.
Yeah, unfortunately, content-wise, it looks like a pretty slow summer for us. I guess
we'll see.
We won't be waiting. We won't be waiting for that guard or the other guard to sign. I think we'll be fine. So yeah,
we'll be just fine. And that feels weird to say for the basketball side of Olympiacos, but we'll be just fine. Thank you all, truly, for watching once again. One of the most special episodes we've had in a while. And as summer kicks off, as I promised you, and as I started delivering, we have a lot of things on the way. So as always, thank you.